10 million people in England and Wales, 100,000 in Liverpool not paying the poll tax when it comes in Liverpool. We have an old slogan of the Labour movement: unity is strength. If we stand together, we only have to lift our little finger and we could crush the poll tax with one movement and the Tory government with it. I would appeal to you, don't walk away from this demonstration without signing up and joining this campaign, putting your name down and putting a pledge down that you are not going to pay the poll tax. You are not going to desert your brothers and sisters in Scotland. You're going to go over to the stall at the end, over there on my left, and to sign up and say to Thatcher, we're not paying the poll tax. You can bring in all the forces you've got, because when you've got a virtual revolutionary movement developing from Scotland to the Tory Shires, then we cannot but be but a part of that. Thank you for attending the demonstration today. Pay no poll tax.
We've got a lobby of the City Council this Wednesday at 5:30 at the Town Hall. I'd urge everyone to go along and show the City Council that we're not going to pay the poll tax and we don't expect them to make any cuts. I've also been passed a notice that there will be a meeting of militant readers in the Legs of Man starting now, where Tommy Shenton will address the meeting. I'd like to thank everyone for attending this demonstration. Don't go away. Support the mass campaign and non-payment. Join the anti-poll tax unions. Forward to victory.
Enough. Would you pay the poll tax?
No.
Why not?
I'm old enough and I'm not paying it. Yeah.
Why do you think it's a bad thing for children?
I haven't got any money as it is.
They're only on the white yet.
I haven't got any money as it is. When my PayPal gone.
Make a donation to help us fight against apartheid in South Africa.
I've got any more money to give everything. I've seen all these again.
If you want to go into the demonstration, it's going to be coaches and everything.
Yeah. I'm going to take it. Oh, well, you'll be with us in spirit. So you'll be with us in spirit, won't you?
I'll get you another phone here. Just
You got another phone there, love?
Yeah.
Listen, what was arranged to meet, you know, on Tuesday.
I've just seen Simon before.
Okay.
Mind you, there's quite a few more that will come with the
The thing about this is that last week we had all stuff arranged.
How did you not get in the front of the queue there?
Excuse me, can I ask you why you're against poll tax?
Because I think it's an unfair system.
Okay. And how dangerous do you think it is to the government?
I think it's suicide.
Do you foresee more trouble happening?
Must be.
What about Wednesday's lobby? Will you be attending that? Yeah. You will. Okay, thank you very much.
I mean, it's just like a gang. You don't do what those teachers that go and can mass suicide.
Just making another rule up for England when no people want it to go on, like, because it's getting too many.
What does your mum and dad feel about the poll tax?
They're not paying it.
They're not going to pay it?
No, because it's stupid. She's just making another rule up to think she's...
Well, I know you're a bit young to be involved in politics, but what do you think about this government?
The government, we don't need it.
Have you seen any effects? Have you seen the government effects in your school?
No.
You haven't? You haven't?
No.
No. So why do you think this government is not the government for you or your family?
Because they keep making all new rules up, silly, and then people really don't understand them, and goes all over the place. People want signing up against petitions, like saying that they don't want to do it.
Okay.
Sign up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Mrs. Thatcher hasn't done anything for the ordinary people of Britain.
All she has done is help the rich to get richer, richer and richer at the expense of poor people. She hasn't done anything for the schools, for better education for the children. She hasn't done anything to make workers' lives better. She hasn't done anything for the pensioner. So she's constantly disrupted the lives of ordinary people in this country. She's been a very bad Prime Minister, and I would not like to see another woman in as a Prime Minister. I'd rather have a man back, and preferably Labour.
Can I ask you, do you have a message for Margaret Thatcher?
Yes. You are cold-hearted. You've got no compassion for the people. None whatsoever. You're a very bad woman.
That's right.
Why do you think this poll tax is unfair?
Because it doesn't take account of anyone's ability to pay the poll tax. In Liverpool, 72% of the population will not be able to afford to pay the poll tax. They'll be worse off as a result of the implementation of the poll tax. We're going to build a mass campaign of non-payment which will drive the poll tax off the statute.
Okay, you mentioned non-payment, but are you actually going to then advocate that people should break the law to repeal this law?
Unfortunately, when your back's up against the wall, you can't afford to obey a law, then you're forced to break the law. In the 19th century, simply to hold a meeting of more than 5 people was against the law. It was only when working people were prepared to break the law and go on the streets was that law repealed. We are going to break the law to drive the poll tax up.
How do you feel the opposition is handling this subject, the Labour government?
Well, unfortunately, the Labour Party has not come out in favour of mass non-payment. We're going to build a mass campaign which will hopefully force Labour to come down on our side and lead the campaign.
Okay, and do you think we're going to win this defeat?
We will win this campaign. There are 1 million people who refuse to pay the poll tax in Scotland, which is 1 in 4 of the population. If that's transferred into England and Wales, there'll be 10 million people refusing to pay the poll tax. It'll be simply impossible for Thatcher and the Tories to continue.
Thank you.
But if you get the heads together, you sort it out for the people.
How do you feel Labour are responding to the poll tax?
The Labour hierarchy are not responding the right way at all. They're not with the people, they haven't got a clue, they're out of touch.
Do you have confidence in the Labour Party as a viable alternative government?
I've got confidence in the local Labour parties.
Okay.
It's when you get to a national level, that's when they can't do anything.
And do you think you'll win this dispute?
We'll win.
Definitely.
We'll win.
Thank you.
I think so, yeah.
You're supporting Right. Do you have anything to say why you feel this poll tax is unfair?
Well, for 18 months in this city, we've been trying to tell people the implications of the poll tax. Now they're learning for themselves. I've never believed that when people knew the truth, they'd accept the poll tax. They're not going to accept the poll tax. We don't want the Labour Council to accept the poll tax. We want the Labour Party to mount a campaign. In my opinion, there ought to be a general election now.
But do you feel that the Labour Party is mounting a campaign against the poll tax?
Well, the Labour Party has had an educational campaign, as they would put it, for the last year or so. But to my way of thinking, not enough Labour Party members, and particularly the leadership, have been out knocking on the doors like we have to know how strongly people feel. We want people organised and not left on their own and frightened.
Okay, and how do you feel the Labour councillors will vote here? Do you think, because Liverpool has a history of suffering and unemployment, do you feel that the the Labour councillors are colluding with the Tory government over the poll tax?
Well, I think that the majority, all of the Labour councillors are opposed to the poll tax. I don't think there's anyone who supports it. The point is, are you going to support it in words? Are you going to actively campaign in support of those people who, through no fault of their own, not on principle, but can't afford to pay? Now, we're saying to those councillors, you were elected 2 years ago on your leaflet, it opposed the poll tax. And we're asking you to stand by that, and I believe that the majority of them will.
Okay, Margaret Thatcher says that it's the problem of the Labour-held councils. It's their fault, and the Tory ones are keeping the price down. How would you answer that?
Well, she would, wouldn't she? It's got nothing to do with spending at all. It's got everything to do with an attack on civil liberties. It means every man and woman over 18 is now down on a register somewhere in this country. It means you've got a universal identifying code for the first time. It means that Labour councils who cannot be beaten through the ballot box will be beaten by the poll tax if they implement it. Because either you can have a low poll tax and no services, or a high poll tax and people can't pay it. The Tories are totally and utterly undemocratic. Labour councillors are struggling to keep services going. My sympathies are with them, but I'm saying to them, this government doesn't care about people, and it doesn't care about services. Labour councillors have got to stand with their people and organise the Labour Party to fight with them. We want the Tories out. We want a general election now, and that's what Mr Kinnock should be calling for.
Right, thank you. Finally, what do you think about that low poll tax given out by Wandsworth Council?
Well, again, it's typical, isn't it? Wandsworth is the Tories' flagship, a bit like Bradford. And if you see what Wandsworth has done in the last 10 to 12 years, it's easy to get a low poll tax. You just sack people, run down services, privatise them. It's dead easy, anyone can do it.
Do you think you'll win this campaign?
Absolutely, no doubt.
Okay, can I ask you why you think the poll tax is unfair?
Because it's an act of robbery given from the poor to the rich. It's totally unfair. It's not based on people's ability to pay, and it's simply the Tories trying to steal money from local government and end local democracy.
Okay, can you tell me how much the rates were last year for Liverpool?
Person's average rate in Liverpool was about 450. That's for one household. You're talking about a poll tax now possibly £450 a head. Included in that is about £60, which the government has put on Liverpool will be subsidising areas in the soft south, well-off areas like Wandsworth and so on, who've got a low poll tax.
Okay, I see. And how much is the recommended government figure for the poll tax in Liverpool?
It's £303 a head. The only way you could get that was by absolutely slashing council services to a level at which many services would almost cease to exist.
So what action are you going to take then? I mean, are you going to carry through this poll tax of £450?
No. Today, the budget meeting, if it takes place, a level of spending based on people's needs in Liverpool will be set. And then what we are saying, the Labour group, we've got to go out and campaign to get more resources for the city. And I myself, along with at least 21 others, are saying we don't want to set a poll tax rate because we think that that is totally unfair on the people of Liverpool, and we're not having anything to do with it. We're not going to pay our poll tax, and we won't set the poll tax rate either.
So are you advocating breaking the law then, that you will not pay the poll tax?
Well, it's not a question of advocating breaking the law. It's a question of my own personal choices. I cannot afford to pay. I've lost housing benefit. I cannot afford to pay the level of poll tax that will be inflicted on me and my family, and that's going to be the situation of at least 40% of the population in Liverpool who are already living in poverty, and we've got to support those people, and we've got to organise them together, not leave them as individuals. The Labour movement has to look after those people and organise them in a proper campaign. I think we can defeat the Tory government.
How would you answer Margaret Thatcher's claim that it's the Labour-controlled councils that are causing the problem by increasing their spending unjustly?
Why are all the Tory councils screaming, and why have we got people resigning in Oxfordshire saying that they cannot carry out their budgets on the government figures without massive cuts in spending? And all this is about is robbing money from local government. The Tories have taken at least 28 billion away from local government. If that was restored, then people would not actually have a problem about paying their rates, and rates would be set at a level, that would be,
very modest increase that would actually give a level to provide the schools, the jobs, the houses that we actually need.
Yeah.
Give us that back, that 28 billion.
But what about the poll tax set by Wandsworth Council?
Well, Liverpool people are expected to pay into a safety net, £34 each.